Good afternoon, Rich Nass with Open Systems Media here for this week's session with Ray Zinn. As you know, we speak to Ray and we publish these things every Friday, and Ray has been known to give very honest answers, and for that reason I ask some of the tough questions, and so far he's had an answer for everything I've had to ask. Hello, Ray. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, Rich. It's a beautiful day here in California, and we're...
It's always beautiful in California, isn't it?
They call it sunny California. Yep, that's true.
Very good, very good.
Low 70s.
Okay. Very nice. No humidity, right?
Very little.
Very
just
good.
A nice sunny day.
Good. Okay. Let's talk about something that we started to talk about a little bit last week, but on a different role. We talked about it more last week in terms of the electronics industry. Now I'd like to talk about the world in general. And as far as I remember, my lifetime, the U.S. has always had this role of the world's peacekeeper. And for a long time, it worked. Now there are many people, many people who tell you that we need to relinquish that role and let the world police itself. Now, you've been through a world war. You've been through Vietnam and Korea and all this other stuff that's going on lately. Should the U.S. remain as the world's peacekeeper, or should we just let these companies do what they need to, or not what they need to do, but what they will do to each other?
That's a good question, Rich, because that's one that's kind of being debated on the political stage as we speak. I'm not sure that we've always viewed ourselves as the world's peacekeeper because the fact that the United States has such a dominant presence economically and has the wherewithal to do it financially. We've been given that role, whether we wanted it or not. We've been kind of assigned that role as the world's peacekeepers. But let's back off a little bit. The primary reason that we've entered the war, even in the Second World War, was because of our interests were being perverted, and our national security was at risk. So that's been the case in some of the wars anyway. Now, maybe the Vietnam War, we could debate that one because our security wasn't necessarily at risk, and the political powers to be felt that we need to intercede because the North Vietnamese were overrunning the South Vietnam, and so we were protecting the people, as you would, of that land. So my view, of course, is, and I will admit I'm a conservative, is that we should do it for national interest, to provide security and protection to our country, not necessarily to provide security for other countries. So as opposed to being, just a world peacekeeper, kind of the referee, as you would, I look at us more in terms of, what would impact the United States. In other words, how would we be impacted by other countries being invaded or invading us? And the decision should be made at the level of our government that can properly assess how much our national security is being affected or could be affected. So that's kind of my view. Not that I believe that the United States should take on the role as the peacekeeper or the referee between countries.
You said that very well, and the thing that always comes to my mind is this issue of, where we got involved in the Middle East, where they said it was about safety, but most people would tell you it's really about the oil. But I could definitely see the way that you described that, protecting the oil actually protects the interests of the United States. And
exactly. That was what you said what I was going to tell you. I think in the case of Vietnam, we were more of a referee. And in the case of Iraq and that one, I think there is some concern about protecting our oil interests. That's why I think that we ought to be more self-sufficient and not have to depend on other countries for such an important commodity like oil. So, but anyway, that's my view, and we can debate who's right and who's wrong, but there's two sides to a coin, and they're both different. So we need both sides, and that's what keeps the coin balanced. And I don't profess to be the expert here, but that's just my view.
Well, if we had more time, I would argue that coin is not balanced. It's actually fallen on one side, but not a discussion for today. I think.
An example of a coin. There's two sides to a coin, right? And both sides are different, but yet they're balanced, meaning that the coin is you flip it and it's still going to be 50-50. That's what I meant by balanced. Now, in our country, I think we do have a good balance of power within the country. It may take time to get that balance straightened out, but certainly I love the way the Constitution is written and the way we have the balance of powers within our country, so that no one branch can override the other branch.
Very good. Very well said. Thank you very much. Well, that was this week's session with Ray Zinn. I thank you, Ray. I hope you have a great day.
Well, hey, Rich, you have the same. I appreciate the call.
Thank you. Take care.